you can certainly say that David Lammy, as Foreign Secretary, is not in any way, shape or form impressing some of our allies, not only the United States of America, but also Israel. Have a look at this. This is what he said yesterday on what would happen if Benjamin Netanyahu was to come to the United Kingdom.
That we are to enforce these warrants were they to arise. Under our legislation, Section 2 of the International Criminal Courts legislation, there is an obligation on me to transmit to the courts should those named seek to come into our country. That doesn't allow me any discretion. I will issue that, transmit that to the courts.
Unbelievable stuff. Let's talk to Jonathan Conricus, former IDF spokesperson. Jonathan, very good morning to you.
Good morning.
I'm sorry to say that is our Secretary of State for Foreign and Commonwealth Affairs there, saying wrongly, in my view, that he has no discretion when it comes to a warrant issued by the International Criminal Court. Of course he has discretion. The French have said they won't arrest him. The Germans, I think, have said the same, various other European countries and the United States. Why is Britain an outlier here?
Well, the old saying attributed to former President, I think it was Kennedy, for evil to prevail, the only thing that good men need to do is nothing. That's what really it is about. And I see the current lawfare conducted against Israel, the Jewish state, as perverse, and I see it as evil. And I think that good people should stand up against evil and say that we do not condone it, we do not support it, we think it is biased, it is unfair, it is absolutely absurd to call and to summon the democratically elected leader of Israel. You can like him or dislike him, that's a different point of view, but to summon a democratically elected leader as a dictator to a war criminal is absolutely absurd, and especially when we are fighting some of the most cruel and inhumane terrorists that have ever walked on this earth. So I think, yes, there is a choice and there is agency and there is freedom, and good people need to take a stand and say we will not support this, and other countries are doing so. Yes,
exactly, as we should be, and hopefully that will change over time. Let's talk a little bit about the situation in Lebanon. Yesterday at 4 a.m. a ceasefire was announced. I've been looking at your Twitter, and it looks as though what your point of view would be is that, you know, a lot of people in Israel think this might be the wrong course of action, that Hezbollah has been denuded to such an extent that it is no longer the force that it was, and maybe Israel should be going in and finishing the job.
Well, I think that something that bothers a lot of Israelis, especially when you look at the last military achievements of the last 3.5, 4 months, is the disparity between the military achievements against Hezbollah, which are significant, and the essence of this agreement. This agreement leaves Hezbollah in place. It doesn't unseat them from Lebanese politics. It does not topple them as the strongest military organization in Lebanon, much stronger than the Lebanese armed forces, and it doesn't relegate them out of the Lebanese political system. It basically says, well, we'll trust the Lebanese armed forces and UN peacekeepers to implement this deal, which is a recipe for failure. And I don't say that based on my subjective point of view. I say it based on 17, 18 years of history in southern Lebanon, when the Lebanese armed forces and UNIFIL were supposed to implement Security Council Resolution 1701 and prevent the very same situation that we are in now, that we are in after October 8th, and they failed to do so. And the second thing that is also very important is that there are no real assurances that it is safe for Israelis to return to their homes. And I think that many Israelis wanted more. You know, we endured 14 months almost of fighting. People were refugees in their own country, relentless rocket fire at all over Israel, central Israel, northern Israel, lots of casualties and suffering. And yes, there was suffering and casualties on the Lebanese side as well. Don't diminish that. But from an Israeli perspective, a lot was achieved militarily. But now this deal doesn't really assure that it's safe to go home.
No.
And bothers Israelis.
Do you feel that this is a kind of Joe Biden farewell tour type imposition, that he wanted to leave office having said that he had caused peace to break out in the Middle East?
Well, I mean, to be fair, the U.S. administration under President Biden has been very supportive of Israel, has been providing Israel with most of what we need in order to fight and defend ourselves. And there have been issues lately between Jerusalem and Washington regarding the delivery of weapons and armaments and other things that I hope will be a thing of the past and will not be a thing of the future. I think that looking forward, there is a lot of, convergence of interests between the U.S. and Israel, and I think that we will march forward. Hopefully, Israel will get everything it needs in order to defend itself and to be a very strong and loyal ally of the United States, and I would say an extension of the West in the Middle East.
Yes, indeed. Jonathan, we've got to run. Sorry, thank you very much indeed. Jonathan Conricus there, former spokesperson for the IDF.